For over 3 years, Dr. Ngozi Ezike has served as head of the Illinois Department of Public Health. With all her being, she has dedicated each day, and I mean every day, to the agency's mission to protect the health and wellness of the people of Illinois, becoming a beacon of stability for millions during a time of tremendous uncertainty. She has an unshakable faith in God, and she has leaned on her faith to give her the strength to care for the world.
Hi, I'm Ngozi Ezike, the founder of Gibraltar Medical, a non-profit organization dedicated to connecting Black scientists with communities of color, because we believe that what you see, you can aspire to. At a time unprecedented in the world and our nation's history, Dr. Ngozi Ezike has served with excellence as the Illinois Director of the Department of Public Health. Under the leadership of Governor J.B. Pritzker, she has worked tirelessly to keep the people of the great state of Illinois safe. Today, we are honored to have her on our platform discussing, you guessed it, leadership. Welcome, Dr. Ngozi Ezike.
Reflect on being the Director of Public Health during a global pandemic unlike any in history.
It's been the honor of my career to be able to serve as the Director of Public Health for the great state of Illinois, the sixth largest state in the country, where almost 13 million people call the state its home. Being able to serve in this role was tremendous. Even before the onset of a pandemic, coming into the role, we were dealing with measles outbreaks because of communities with lower measles vaccine uptake. And then we dealt with vaping, hospitalizations, and deaths, and really working to communicate to young people the dangers of vaping, the dangers of smoking. And then that was quickly followed by the beginnings of a new virus, first identified in China, but quickly turned into a global pandemic. No one chooses to be a public health director during the time of a pandemic, but to have that opportunity to lead in such a challenging time has grown muscles that I frankly didn't know that I had. And that growth will sustain me and guide me as I take on other roles. And so the opportunity to serve in a crucible, under pressure, in the most trying of times, is maybe not a situation that I would have elected to walk into, but I'm glad that I was in place at the time and just knew I had to move forward and do what I could each day with my incredible team. And each day you did what you could, not knowing how much longer the emergency would last. And so one day turned into 1 week, turned into 3 months, has now been over 2 years. And you just keep doing what you have to do. And I'm so grateful for having an incredible team. That's an important part of being successful in trying to navigate a global pandemic, is to have the right people surrounding you that you can work together and effectively with to make sure that the important aspects are handled. It has been really the pinnacle of my career to be able to serve in this manner. And as much as I have been able to give and serve the people of Illinois, I've probably received as much or more.
What do you consider a top leadership skill?
If you think about the top 3 things that a leader needs to be strong and effective in their roles, whether it's managing a company or managing a practice or leading a public health department through a pandemic, I think the same 3 things are going to be at the top of all of those lists. Number 1, communication. Number 2, communication. And number 3, communication. And understanding what communication is. It's not just talking and giving orders. Communication in its purest form, in its effective form, means a bilateral exchange of information and ideas, of being able to put out requests or ideas, but spending just as much time hearing feedback, hearing the questions that might need to be clarified so that people can actually deliver on the goal. Being able to hear from that team why we might need to pivot in a certain direction. Just communication is at the key, is at the center of effective leadership, and it's as much listening as it is speaking.
How have you balanced being a wife, a mother, and an IDPH director during a pandemic?
It's an awesome blessing to be able to be a wife, a mother, and a leader in the workforce, a leader in public health. The truth is that trying to, quote, balance the three is significantly challenging. And if we're honest with each other, the idea that we can have everything is probably a little bit flawed. You can have everything, but to think that you can have everything at the same time is misguided. And people who have served and been in those three spaces at the same time know that things do have to give. And while you want to physically and emotionally be there for your family 100% of the time, work responsibilities will make that essentially impossible. And so you do have to trust and lean into and onto the power of the village, and know that even if you can't be at that game that you so want to be at, that you can have somebody there representing you, or that you can try to catch a part of it, even if it's not the whole piece. You know that there are times when you're going to have to say no to a certain additional work obligation in lieu of doing something special with the family. But you can't be at a work event and at the dinner table at the same time. So understanding that a perfect balance maybe doesn't exist, but that you can pick and choose, and at certain times make it clear that this might be an intense period and I might not be at everything in this moment, but there will be a lull in the work, and there will be times when I can do more of the things that are desired, that we all want to see. But I just think as women leaders who are juggling a lot, we should be honest with ourselves, and as we talk to other women leaders and future women leaders, that it is challenging. It's not that we can't do it, but it's challenging. We'll need the support of the village, the support of wonderful family and friends. You can have a wonderful relationship with your kids and your partner, as well as be super successful on the job. But you will have the need for reinforcements, and you have to identify things that it might be beneficial to outsource so that you can be as effective as you can in all three of those arenas.
Has your race and being a woman ever been a challenge? If yes, how did you navigate those situations?
As much as there's the desire to sweep race and gender under the rug, we know that those are issues. No woman of color in today's workforce has never not been aware of their status. But I use it as a badge of honor. I'm so grateful to be the first Black woman, only the second woman and the first Black woman to serve as the director of IDPH. And I think that gives me license to bring up issues that maybe have not gotten enough attention. I'm an expert in some of those issues because I have lived experience. And so being able, with transparency and truth and forthrightness, to bring up issues that maybe have not been adequately discussed, that have not gotten enough attention, that's the role that we have to serve when you are the first or the only. But we can't be satisfied with just being the first or the only. The idea is to get in there, be the first and the only, and then chip away at those glass ceiling barriers that prevent additional people from being the second and the third and the fourth. And so creating a path for others to follow you. So we're not still talking about we've never seen, we've never had, it's the first. We want to make that a thing of the past.
What's your advice for those who are being asked to lead but are hesitant?
For people who have the opportunity to lead, you have to seize that opportunity. You can't be afraid of failure. Nobody bats 1,000. Nobody shoots 100%. We can't be afraid of not succeeding. We fail in not trying. And so being able to seize those opportunities, get in that leadership role, making a difference, making the mistakes as well as the wins, that's part of growing. And as you grow and make those mistakes, you learn for the next opportunity, and you can make better decisions, make a different mistake for the next opportunity. We shouldn't be afraid of failure. We should be afraid of not trying. And so when you get that opportunity, raise your hand, step in, stand up, even if you're not 100% sure. Keep going. Trust in the education and the experience and the expertise that even led them to offer you that opportunity. Sometimes people see things in you that you don't see in yourself. It could be the imposter syndrome. It could be an over sense of humility. But know that when it is your time to lead, you need to step up and take it.
How have you preserved your femininity in a largely masculine world?
I am a woman. I am not a man, and I'm not trying to be a man. And so when I present, I have to make sure that I look on point. We have to worry about how our nails look and our hair looks. We have to be a complete package. And really, when I look good, I feel confident. And if I don't look good, I probably feel a little less confident. I remember clearly preparing for one of the press conferences, or we were just assembling in the break room before heading out for the press conference. And our team member, the sign language interpreter, was saying, "Oh, Dr. Ezike, you look so nice. All the people in my circle are always talking about how you look so put together and so wonderful." And the governor chimed in, "What about me? Nobody's commenting on my suits." We can't put the same dress on every day or just rotate the same, 3 dresses. We have to pay attention to those details, and it takes time. And so as someone might be able to just quickly get themselves together and get in front of the camera in 5 minutes, that's not the case. And I take pride in having had to learn how to apply makeup and use more makeup over the last 2 years than I've ever used in life, and be a regular on the clearance racks at some of my favorite department stores to try to get affordable but nice looking pieces. And I've also been so blessed to borrow so many pieces from my dear friends who are invested in women looking good and sounding good. And so I embrace my femininity, and I encourage women to do the same.
Gibraltar Medical connects Black scientists to communities of color. What's your advice to those considering careers in science?
I had the opportunity to major in chemistry. I think that was probably strongly influenced by the fact that my father also majored in chemistry. And I think that any of these science fields, STEM, they just open all kinds of doors, whether it's mathematics, physics, biology, all doors are open to you. We know that the careers in science are plentiful, and majoring in STEM will open so many doors, but we do have to leave room for adjustments and pivots when they might be necessary. Because there is a great field out there doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best for you. And so as you're on your journey, if you're in college and you think you want to do STEM and somehow you're struggling a lot, you get the assistance you need, you get the support, you work in study groups, you reach out to the professors and teaching assistants, and you try to figure out the study techniques that will make you successful. But if after all of that, you continue to struggle and you start to feel like this might not be the best direction for you, give yourself grace. Give yourself the space to step back and look at other opportunities. We are all gifted and talented, but finding where our talent lies, where our gifts are much better suited, might be not so clear. And so thinking about other fields outside of science is completely valid and may even be warranted if it seems like the path you're on is not the best fit. What's most important is to be happy and to be learning and to be enjoying the learning that is happening. And if you find that enjoyment and that peace and that excitement for education in a non-STEM field, so be it, and carve your own lane and find what will make you the best you.
When I say that she has had one of the hardest jobs in the world, there is something particularly heroic about the service of an extraordinary individual who did not seek greatness, but found it anyway. Dr. Ezike's last day leading our Department of Public Health will be March 14th. It is a change that I'm loath to accept. But perhaps she can finally get a good night's sleep and precious time with her husband and her 4 kids.